This week, we're thinking about space. Lots of my friends like to pretend about space and think about space. There's lots of things that are in space. There's planets. Some of my friends know the names of those planets. We live on Earth, which is one of the planets. There's stars. There's constellations, which are groups of stars. There's lots of things out there. And some people from the United States and from other countries as well have gotten in vehicles and gone out into space. In fact, we have people that have landed on the moon. They put a United States flag on the moon when they went there so many years ago. So when you look up at the moon at night, I know you can't see that flag, but it's up there. Even when we're looking at it from so far away, there's a flag on that moon right now. This story is called Space Vehicles. Now, they have cats in this book, which makes it kind of pretend. But a lot of the things that they talk about in the book are really true. So it's kind of cool as a way of looking at things about space. It's by Anne Rockwell and David Brion. Rockets blast off. They carry space vehicles up into the blue sky, far away from our planet Earth, out into the black space. Do you know why it's black out in space? Because there's no light there. Space is where our sun and moon, the stars, and other planets are. Here's a picture you can see, because all the planets go around the sun. So the sun is the big yellow circle, and all the planets that are going around are on the little circle lines. To travel so far, space vehicles go very fast. Satellites are space vehicles that go into orbit around the Earth. That means they just go around the Earth. That's all they always do. Some tell us what the weather will be. So if you find out the weather in the morning, chances are you're getting that information from a satellite. Probes go to other planets and send pictures back to Earth. We haven't had a person go to visit another planet. They're very, very far away, but they have sent vehicles to other planets to learn more about them. Is there water there? What's the soil like there? They take pictures, just find out information. Lunar modules look like giant insects. They take astronauts to the moon, the same moon that I see at night. Lunar rovers look like cars. They have wide wheels to ride through moon dust. And we actually had astronauts who rode in both a lunar module and a lunar rover. You could probably see a picture of that on the internet if you look it up, if you Google it. Space shuttles take off with rockets. We don't have space shuttles anymore because they stopped using those, but for a long time, that is how people got out into space, was through a shuttle. They land like airplanes when they come back to the Earth. Astronauts float weightless inside the space shuttle. Things float around because there's no gravity. That would be kind of silly, wouldn't it? Astronauts use space vehicles called flying armchairs to go outside the shuttle and fix broken satellites. When they go outside of the shuttle or the space station or whatever vehicle they're in there, they have to make sure that they take air or oxygen with them because there's no air out there for them to breathe. So it's very important what they wear when they go outside the spaceship. A ground crew stays behind on Earth to help space vehicles find their way. Anytime there are rockets out in space or any kind of vehicle out there, there's a whole lot of people here in the United States checking their gauges and looking at information to make sure that everything's going okay. One day, there will be big laboratories on space stations that will stay in space for a long time. Guess what? They wrote this book a long time ago, and we already have those now. Scientists will use space vehicles to go there. They will study and learn and then come home to Earth. Right now, we have the International Space Station. There's people from other countries and from our countries who live there. And there have actually been people who've lived out in space for a whole year. Can you imagine living there that long? We already do that. I will be a scientist one day. I will use space vehicles to learn about beautiful, mysterious outer space. This particular picture shows a telescope. And what that does is make things that are really, really far away so that you can see them through this lens right there. Lots of people like to use telescopes to look at the stars and the planets and all the things that are in outer space.